Hey, welcome to Cowboy Leather. Excuse me, get a froggy in the throat. So, I hope everybody has had a good week and that you're ready for the weekend. We've been quite busy around here, and we've made some projects, finished them off, and everybody came and got everything they've ordered or the shoes that I've repaired. So, I got empty shelves. I'm ready to start the new month off. So, I'm going to do something. I probably made a video on this. Maybe I've gone into a little bit more detail on that video, but I'm going to go into some detail today. I'm asked, you know, by people, what tools do I need to start, to get off into leathercraft? And I tell them, oh, go watch this video, go watch that video. But I'm going to go, excuse me, what I feel is the bare minimum that you can get away with to get into it, so you don't spend a lot of money needlessly just in case you don't like doing leathercraft. So we're going to start out. I'm going to start out with a group of tools that you can get at your local hardware store or Harbor Freight or someplace like that. So yeah, we may even have it around the house. I'm going to just tip you down and I'll put them on. I'll lay them out here for you. All right. Pencil, pens. I usually got one in my pocket. I've got a couple laying here on the cut table. I've got pens and pencils laying all over the place. You can get these. This is one of those. I think it's My First Pencil or something like that. Yep, it says My First Pencil. It's big. It's kind of fat around. Get it, grab it. Handy. Just plain old pencils. All right. Now that covers if you want to mark stuff, lay stuff out. Now you always got to measure something. I suggest you get the T-square, or excuse me, not T-square, but a speed square. You know, they're handy, and I find that it's pretty much a necessity to have one. Because I mean, if you want to make something, and if it's square, you got to have square corners. If it ain't square, you're beating yourself up. I've got two of them, but you can pick this up at Harbor Freight, or you may even have your husband or whatever may have one laying around in his garage, his workbench, whatever the case may be. Again, very handy for scoring your projects up, freehand cutting. Also, you can use it as straight edge. Now, it's too big, but I suggest getting yourself a metal yardstick, 36 inches long. This one here is 48, so it's 4 foot. I use it as a straight edge. You can get that at Harbor Freight. I think it costs you all of $7. Now, as far as cutting, I use these adjustable blade or retractable blades. This one's got a hook blade in it. I like the hook blade for cutting around curves and stuff like that. Let's see if we got a piece here. Now, if I'm cutting out a holster or something, I can come down. And if you want to make puzzle pieces, like I say, handy. And you can get the straight blades too. I've got a straight blade laying here someplace. But that is very, very handy. It's retractable when you're not using it. You track the blade so you don't put your hand out and cut yourself. Now, with any knife like this, new project, new blade. So when you buy these, if you get the pack, I think there's 50 or 100 blades in a pack. Let's just say you get the 50 pack. That's 100 projects you can do with uh, one supply of, because you've got this end, unscrew this, take it, flip it over. You can make two projects on one blade. So, like I say, you can get those at Harbor Freight. You can get them at Dollar General or Family Dollars or whatever the case may be. Rotary cutters, handy to have. I've got 3 of them. They're great for cutting thinner leather, upholstery leather, depending on what you're working with. They're handy. This one here, like I say, this one I can just grab a hold of and I can cut down one hand. Now, this is a cutting board. I got this at a Walmart. Let's see here. Tape measure 15 by 20. They make them bigger, they make them smaller. This is what you're going to use for your poking holes for your stitching. Uh, Basically, poking holes. And if you're going to throw yourself down a piece of leather and stitch on that, or not stitch, but poke your stitches on that. Trying to save this as much as possible. It's very handy. Now let's see here. Something else you can pick up at Harbor Freight. Pair of good scissors. I got these 6-8 months ago. They will cut leather no problem. Good to have around. So, like I say, Harbor Freight, I think these were all of maybe $9-10. Let's see, what else you got? Disposable blade knives. You can get a pack. I think I got 3 in a pack for I think they were $1. Basically, there's three in a pack. I think they were like $3. As you use them, you break the one off and keep on going. So let's see here. What else we got that you can pick up? A dead blow hammer. Harbor Freight. Handy for stamping because when you stamp, you hit it, it doesn't bounce. Hits one because there's like lead shot inside of here. And when you hit it, it's boom, stops. It doesn't bounce. So if you hit it square, you're good. This hammer, yeah, it's hard plastic here and a little bit uh, softer plastic or rubber over here. That's something else I use for stamping or just general purpose. Do you need it? No. Is it handy? Yes. So we've covered that. Let's see what else we got here that you can just go straight up to the Dollar Tree or Dollar Store. Oh, spray bottle with water is good for cleaning stuff up. But if you're going to tool leather, squirt and go. Yes, you can use a sponge. I use a spray bottle. It comes in handy. All right, we got that out of the way. Those are just things that you can get at the Dollar Tree, Dollar Generals, or at your local hardware store. Those are the inexpensive stuff. Now we're going to get into a little bit more expensive and a little bit more the tools that are for leatherwork themselves. Oh, and another thing would be good to have is a ruler, metal, preferably with cork on the back, so it doesn't slip and slide. All right, we've covered those. Now in the cutting category, I've had this one for a long time, and it's a hand-me-down strap cutter. If you're going to do belts or make stuff that doll collars and stuff like that where you're cutting straps, I like this one because it fits my hand good. It's got like a little trigger there on the bottom. It's easier to pull and work than the wooden ones. Now, some people prefer the wooden one because they're a little bit cheaper. Okay, that is a necessity. Uh, you need that if you're going to do any kind of strap work, or like I said, strap work. Wing dividers. I see so many people trying to put in stitch lines and do it freehand, and it looks like a snake. If you get yourself a set of wing dividers, it's, let me find a piece of leather here. There we go. We'll just use this. See, and pretend you want to put a stitch groove here. It's wet. Come down through. Come to your end. Pick it up. Cut through there. Now, what you can also use if you're going to lay stitch groove. This is a stitch groover. It's got the guide on the edge, rounded cutting in there. That's That's what you need. Use these. They're not that expensive. Your wing dividers, they come in handy for, putting stitch grooves in belts, for laying out. If you want to draw yourself a circle, you figure out how big your circle is, put it. These are a necessity. They come in handy. It's not something that is frivolous. You need a straight line if you're going to if you're going to hand stitch or machine stitch. You need to have a straight line, which brings me into your pricking irons. Now these are Weaver. They're 5 millimeter. Comes in 6, 4, 2, and 1. They're not expensive. I think I paid $20 or $25 for them, but it's well worth it. And they work good. Now, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I go and try and drive them through, and they stick and make all kind of funky." What I do is I just scuff. Usually, I just stab it in there and scuff a little bit. Now, where's my? Okay, we use this hammer here. Come through the bottom, whack it twice. I would imagine if I cut, where's my cutting utensil here? All right, lay that under there. Line it up, whack it up, pops all the way through. So, these are a necessity if you're going to hand sew. And if you're building anything from wallets, holsters, belts, you need something like that. So these are something that you need. Okay. Covered that. Now you got to have something to hit your. Like I said, these came from Harbor Freight. This came from Tandy. This came from Weaver, I believe. This one, get one of these or rawhide one. This is polymer. It does fine and dandy. Okay. It drives you through about 2 wraps, really good wraps. Will get the job done. So, again, you need a good hammer, mallet, Now usually you're gonna need to dress up your edges. So I use, that's a number two, I believe. Yep, it's a number two. I try and stay in number two range. This one here, these two are good for working tight areas. This is a number two. This is a number four. When I say number four, it's the width between there. So you need to clean up your edges. I would say stay in the number two edge range when you're edging, and it gives it a nice round edge. Let me see here. Get that out of the way. I haven't sharpened these, so they may be kind of dull. Now I don't know if you can see it, but it rounds it off. Makes it round it off pretty nice. That's curved. You see here. This kind of puts a V on it, but once you slick it, that's another thing. You don't need all these fancy slickers. You squirt a little water on here. Spin your tool around. It slicks it up. But having a slicker is a good idea. Now, something else I suggest is a skiving tool. Some people are going to go, oh, I don't know how to use those, or oh, I tried one and they're evil. Probably are evil. But they work. They work good. And it's not expensive. Now, we got these out of the way. Now, something that you don't really need, but in my opinion, it's handy. I've had this one around for a long time. I got it at Tandy. It's a quick leather gauge. If you're going to be buying leather, or you're going to figure out what ounce leather you're using, you don't jam it on. You just kind of put it up there. And this is 7-ounce leather. I keep it laying here in the shop just in case I want to check leather thickness. Especially like when I'm skiving, I just run down there. Now, you want to have some thread. Anything you build, pretty much you're going to be sewing. So this is just basically hand sewing thread. You can get the tiger thread, you can get the wax thread, you can get all them other threads. But you're going to need thread. That you're going to have to go and figure out when you decide if you're going to make a wallet or a purse or whatever the case may be, how big your holes are, how sturdy you want it, and you're going to need yourself some needles. Now, let me put you on hold here a minute. All right. So, John Jameson, you can get those in whatever. Not yet. It's the leather needle. I like the diamond. As soon as it focuses, there he goes. I like those. And I've got some other ones also. Carpet needles. Occasionally you'll need to sew something where you can't really get in, you loop it around. But you're going to need needles, whatever you decide. I can't tell you what because I use different needles and a lot of times I use the sewing machine. So now here's something that people don't talk about very much. A speedy stitcher. Very handy. Some people don't even use them. I do. You wind yourself, that's the bobbin for it. You wind some of this thread on there and it makes a saddle stitch. A lot of uh, people carry these in a backpack, carry them saddlebags that are horses and stuff like that. Because if you break something or tear something, you can fix it right out in the wild. I think $10 it comes with a roll of thread or a spool of thread and 2 or 3 needles. And if you're going to hand stitch, most likely you're going to want yourself a Stitch Me pony. This one I made, I took a 2x4, put on my uh, table saw, cut it, made it quick. All it is just a piece of 2x4, flat piece. You can get them at Tandy. Do you need one? I would say yeah. They're very handy. Some people can stitch uh, without using one, but they are handy. So I would suggest having one. If you use, okay. If you don't, okay too. So that, like I say, that is just the basics that you need. After you get yourself in there a little bit, you start making stuff and figure out what you want to do. You ask people, and they'll say you ask 5 people, and you're going to get 5 different answers of what their idea of tools, what they need for tools. And some of them, they jump right to the more expensive stuff. They say, well, go to Weaver, Tandy, or wherever and get yourself a starter kit. Well, some of them starter kits are got tools in them that you don't need. $65 or more. I showed you the cheapest basic starter tools that you need, and you can make just with what I showed you. You can make belts, wallets, uh, anything. Now, I haven't said anything about stamps and clicker dies and stuff like that. That's a whole different ball game. You know, what you're interested in is what do I need to cut my first piece of leather. Oh, that's not even counting your leather either. But that all comes with you figuring out what you're going to make. If you're going to make wallets, you can use veg tan, you can use chrome tan. If you're going to make dog collars, you can use chrome tan. Now you can use veg tan, but the chrome tan will last a lot longer than the veg tan will. But that's a whole nother ball game, and people argue with that on that one. So that's what my suggestion is to you. If you want to start into this, get the bare minimum and then build from there. Now, I'm going to show you something. Hang on. I do have a scabbing knife. That also is handy for cutting. You know, I'm not going to tip the camera down, but that is sharp. Okay, that's a scabbing knife. That I would suggest you're having. Keep your digits away from the front of this. Now, you're going to get some people that are going to go, oh, you got to have one of these. They work great for cutting tight corners and yeah, blah, 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 blah. That is a head knife. That is, most people are razor sharp. That one's sharp. My suggestion is once you get yourself used to cutting leather with knives like that, this, and even this, get yourself used to it before you even think about buying one of these. These are almost like a luxury, a privilege. That, if you don't know what you're doing and you think, oh yeah, I know how to cut, I know what I'm doing. You get cocky, you're gonna lose fingers. I'm not saying don't get one, but hold off because these come in different prices, and if they are properly maintained, they are razor sharp. They will lop your finger off before you can say ouch. So I'm not saying don't get one down the road when you become more experienced. But if you've only got, if you've only been doing this stuff now for a month, 2 months, you're still young. You're still breaking in. You're a young pup. You're green. You're green as grass. Now, some people can probably operate that. But if you want to have fingers to play piano or, you know, I come into the world with these. I want to leave this world. I've got a few cuts and bruises and scars from using these knives and stuff like that. And something else. I haven't gotten to here where I'm sitting, but if you're going to do leather crafting and you're going to deal with sharp stuff, have a box of Band-Aids. That is the most important tool you will have in your shop. Band-Aids. And have some tape too, because Band-Aids never want to stick to my finger, so I always wrap a loop of tape around it. But anyways, that's my suggestion. What you would need, what I would suggest people get. Some people have different preference, but it's all up to you. It's what you want to do. If you want to take my advice or watch some other videos, maybe get somebody else's take on it, knock yourself out. We're here to help. So I'm going to get out of here. Hope everybody has a good weekend and you had a good week. And we will see you next week. Cowboys out. Bye.